And welcome to the Huddle, KGUT9's weekly streaming sports talk show. I'm Jason Barr, joined by Pat Paris. Pat, good afternoon. What are you on a scale of 1 to 100? Are you 100% yet healthy?
I'm about 90, 92%. I'm getting there.
I'm at 95.
Yeah. Well,
I'm at 95. It's
I
lingering.
can't stop with a little bit of a hacking cough. Other than that, I feel great. I feel great. I mean, I feel fine. So
Yeah, that's good. We'll get there. All right, we're going to start with our Huddle poll question, and that is not who do you want to be the Super Bowl 59 matchup, but who do you think is going to be the Super Bowl 59 matchup? What two teams do you think are going to win this week? So you can vote on kgut9.com or go to our Twitter account. And obviously, it's one of four choices, right? Bills, Eagles, Bills, Commanders, Chiefs, Eagles, or Chiefs, Commanders. And I think it's going to show up here on our screen in just a second, whether it's A, B, C, or D. And Pat, I think a lot of people certainly are going to go with Eagles and Chiefs, the two home teams, but that's actually not who I think is going to be in the Super Bowl. Before I get mine, what do you think is going to be the Super Bowl 59 matchup?
I'm my fear is it'll be the Eagles Chiefs, and I think that would be awful. And I don't want that at all. But that's my own bias sneaking in, obviously. But I really find the most intriguing matchup, the one that I want to happen, is Commanders and Bills. And I can make a case for why I think it might happen. And that's why I pick C. Nobody's playing better right now than the Washington Commanders. And I just feel like the Bills are due. They're due to finally beat the Chiefs.
I
And
think the Bills are going to win. I'll get to that in a second.
and that's what I was going to say is I really believe that the Bills, talk about a fan base that's due. There's no more ravenous fan base than the Buffalo Bills. There's no more, heartbreak than losing four in a row, and they've had to suffer with that in their entire, for generations now. I just think they're overdue, and I think they're among the two best teams playing right now, and that's why I think they have the best chance to win.
Pat, sometimes they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And I remember when the San Francisco 49ers had won two in a row, two Super Bowls in a row, 88 and 89 season. And we get to the 90 season and they were winning a whole bunch of games. And everybody thought, that it was going to be the three-peat. And sure enough, the Giants went into then Candlestick Park.
Yep.
Matt Barr kicked 5 field goals, including the game winner.
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor, I believe, stripped Roger Craig. And the Giants escaped and then beat the Bills in the playoffs. I think that Buffalo is right there. This Chiefs team has not been dominant this year.
Nope.
It's been a lot of close games. We know about the official calls. I think a lot of things have had to go right for the Chiefs to be where they are right now. I think that Buffalo is going to go in there, and I think that they're going to pull off the upset. That's my prediction. But I also think the Eagles are going to hold off Jaden Daniels. I don't think his numbers are going to be quite what they were, nor are they going to get the 5 turnovers to the Eagles that they got against the Lions.
Now, I'll say this on the flip side. Yeah, you're right about the Chiefs. They haven't looked like a team that's on their way to a third Super Bowl. That doesn't mean they
That's
won't.
what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but they have not. The Chiefs have not looked like a team that's going to three-peat. But I don't think the Eagles have looked all that great all season long either. But here they are in the NFC Championship game again. That's kind of why I have Washington with a legitimate chance to knock them off as well. We'll see.
Washington really can play with nothing to lose, as they did in Detroit with all those fourth down going for it. So, I mean, that's aggressive. That's playing with nothing to lose. They're going to have to keep that mentality.
And it's happened really quickly for the Washington Commanders, obviously. But they get a new GM, they get a new coach, they get Jaden Daniels, they get Eckler, they get a couple of guys on defense, and it's just kind of like the perfect storm happened for them. That they came out of the gate and started winning these games in wild fashion, and they call them the cardiac commanders, all that kind of stuff. But they're a legitimate football team, and I think they're deserving to be one of these 4 teams, and we'll see. Maybe they can shock us all.
I think the Eagles are going to play the Commanders much better than the Lions did. Lions had a bunch of injuries, and they did not really have a spy on Daniels. I think the way the Eagles will have this weekend. All right. Anyway, that's the NFC Championship weekend coming up here this weekend. A very exciting couple of games. And then Arizona basketball, Pat, I'm disappointed. I do feel like they took a big step backward. You can win 7 straight, and then you're not going to win every game, but you can win 7 straight and then just look like that. so hard to just struggling to score. Henry Vasar, you can't go from scoring 19 points to 0. You
Yeah,
know,
but he didn't play. Jason, he didn't have any
players
minutes. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Did we ever hear definitively why Henry Vasar just wasn't even playing in that
because he
game
wasn't
much?
playing well and they needed a walk in there to rebound.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they gave him enough of a chance. I mean, that he's been your guy, and all of a sudden you pick that game to say, "Hey, you're
He
not
wasn't
playing well.
playing
We're going to
well.
sit you." It didn't look good.
He didn't look good when he was in. I think Tommy Lloyd did the right thing with the rotation. They needed a Waka and that big body in there to
I wouldn't have
rebound.
done it. I wouldn't have done that.
And the
I was trying to look to see what his
inconsistency of
minutes
some of
were,
these
but
guys.
yeah.
KJ Lewis is just so inconsistent. We know about
Vasar only
Caleb
played
Love's.
13 minutes, Jason. And here's a guy who, we talk about, plus 20 in that one game where he only played 20 minutes or whatever, and he didn't even come close to that. But regardless of that, I'll, I'll say this. Was I disappointed? Yeah, hugely disappointed the way they kind of just were lethargic throughout much of that game. Then they just went on one of those, offensive slumps that they get into occasionally. But that was a tough place to go play. And I think
Pat,
they
their
knew it was going to be
3-point
tough.
defense is just to pray. That's their 3-point defense.
Well,
Just pray
it's
doesn't go in
it's
because the
the
guy's wide open.
switching they do, and if they don't do it right, you leave guys wide open. And sometimes it works well. It worked well against Baylor. Baylor started to hit some later in the game, and they made a comeback. But I'm not so upset with this loss. I'm just disappointed with the way they lost at the end. A 17-2 run it's embarrassing to play that way. But they're still 5-1 in the conference. They get back on the
But
winning
there's not a
track
lot of
tonight.
margin for error, right?
Yeah, you say that, but they built a pretty good resume now all of a sudden, and they're looking good at sitting at 15 in the net. They dropped one today for whatever reason. Somebody or Texas Tech went ahead of them in the net, so Arizona's 15 in the net and 16 in Ken Palm. The numbers look good. They're 5-1 in the second best conference in the country. I'm not concerned as long as they take care of business, win the games they're supposed to win, and you're going to lose a couple on the road, Jason. We said that to begin with, and they're 5-1 right now in conference play.
Yeah, they as we come on the show here, they visit Oklahoma State tonight, a team with a first-year coach, a game they've got to win.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
you can't lose this
they
one.
have to win this
Yeah,
game. You can't this would be the first bad loss.
right.
Texas Tech is almost the worst loss, so far this year.
Except that now they're ranked, they're 14 in the net all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So Texas Tech now solidly in as an NCAA tournament team. They don't have Arizona still doesn't have a bad, as you said, a bad loss. All
But
their
it's going to be a
losses,
double-digit loss team this year. They already have 6, and they've got
yeah,
games
they're
against.
3-6 against Quad 1. They're 2-0 against Quad 2. They're undefeated against the rest of them. So that's not an issue. They just need to start getting some more Quad 1 wins. They'll have plenty of opportunities coming up. Don't forget, they have Colorado. Then they have Iowa State here, which it's going to be a huge game. They still have to play Kansas. They still have to go to Iowa State. They still have to play Houston twice. So, or was it once? Maybe they just play them once, but they still have to play Houston. So there's opportunities.
Yeah. Uh, I believe the reason why KJ Lewis only got so many minutes and Vasar only got so many minutes is just how they were playing, and he's just got to go
Could
with the
be.
guys who are playing well. And I
Could
know
be.
Awaka commits a lot of fouls. I know he doesn't have great touch around the rim. Obviously he's not a great shooter, but he's a big body in there that can rebound, and they've been having problems rebounding. Obviously there was the game
Yep.
they lost a couple of games ago where, or it was actually the game they won where the team was flying with the rebounds, and that's the game afterwards where Tommy Lloyd came out and was
Central
upset,
Florida. Yeah.
and they didn't rebound great, in some other games. So they need
Yep.
Awaki in there to rebound. It's not a great rebounding team. Vasar is not a great rebounder. Trey Townsend's not a big body in there.
Yep.
They need Awaki in there to rebound. And they need the guards to rebound. Caleb Love
Caleb Love
rebounds. He does a good job
the
doing
one
that.
thing he's doing well
They
right
need
now.
everybody to rebound.
Yep. That's the one of the only things Caleb Love's doing well right now consistently is rebound on the defensive end. And
rebounding and speed should not be going into slumps, right?
You're
The old
right.
baseball thing, speed doesn't go into slump.
Yeah, that's it.
Into a
And
slump.
And that's the thing is they've got to get back to basics, got to get back to what they do well. And something tells me they watched that game. They did a little teaching off of that game, and we're going to see a better Henry Vasar coming into tonight's game. They've got a big man, by the way, their best player, Oklahoma State. They're going to need Henry Vasar to play well. Owaka could not stay with this guy, so it's going to have to be Vasar as far as height goes. So we'll see.
Yeah, Vasar is the only 7-footer on the team. Awaka, isn't as tall, but he's a bigger body,
Yeah.
and he's got to stay out of foul trouble. They go to get in foul trouble. And the one thing that Tommy Lloyd said about Vasar was, "Hey, you're now on the scouting report," and he wasn't kidding because Vasar dropped off. So he's got to be more consistent. And then Tommy Lloyd said, we got to find what's his he called it a reversion to the mean. Like, what are we going to get from him? It's not going to be 19 points a game, but it's also not going to be 0 points a game. It's probably more like 11, and he's got to come up with that on a little bit more of a consistent basis.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Scott Drew, after the Baylor game, was asked about Henry Vasar because he had such a good game against Baylor, and he said, "No, this guy's a pro. This is another one of those patented Tommy Lloyd projects where a guy comes in. He's rather highly touted, but he was lacking in, experience and skill. And while it was disappointing that Henry Vasar didn't play very well his freshman year, and then he missed last year, Scott Drew was not surprised that Henry Vasar had elevated his game to where it was when they beat Baylor 2 games ago, and he's just got to find that form again.
No, and that's been his MO of Tommy Lloyd. The one thing he's done a very good job with, better so than his predecessor, was the development of big men.
Yep.
Big men have developed in a way, whether it be Christian Coloco or Tubelis or Umar Ballo, and now Vasar.
Yep.
They have developed big man, and there's been a lot of player improvement. So that's one thing that staff, deserves a lot of credit for.
Yeah, they do.
But one thing they have not done well is this guarding the 3-pointer. Oh, Pat. I mean, doesn't it bother you every time you look up?
Yeah,
and well,
it bothers me when they don't do what they're supposed to do defensively. And the idea is always there's going to be somebody open briefly because they try to double team out front. They try to get a mismatch, double team a guy, try to create a turnover. But the second guy in has to then get back before the ball gets reversed around. If the team can reverse the ball around before they can get back, it's a wide open 3. It's a risk reward that you're willing to take as long as you execute it well. But when the guys aren't playing well defensively, they look bad. And we saw that.
Yeah. So again, Jason Barr, Pat Paris here on the Huddle here on Tuesday, January 21st, the day after Martin Luther King Day, with the MLK Classic at McKale Center. Kind of a neat thing here.
It really is.
Some of the high school teams get to play at McKale, and Pueblo girls basketball is doing well, and a couple other teams. So with Arizona basketball on the road, and they play at Oklahoma State tonight as the Wildcats try to start a new winning streak after their 7-game winning streak came to an end here. And as they try to step it up in Big 12 play, it's not going to be, listen, it's been a 1 or 2 seed the first 3 years for Arizona basketball. It's not going to be that today, this year. I believe I heard you say they have got a projected 8 seed right now. You don't want that 8 seed, right? Because you got to play the number 1 seed.
No, I think it was higher than that. I thought they were up to a 6 now.
Is that right?
In the last bracketology, yeah. But that there's so much basketball between now and then. They've crept up in the Joe Lunardi slowly but surely. And that Texas Tech loss, I know we're all disappointed with the way they played. It didn't hurt them at all. They dropped like 2 spots in the net. Texas Tech actually went up because they almost upset Iowa State the game before, and Texas Tech's now firmly into the tournament. So, there's a lot of basketball left, as we said, and that number could go up a couple, it could go down a couple.
Yeah, and we see what Tommy Lloyd meant when he said, there's no days off or games off in this conference. It's not like going up to Washington State or something like that, where Arizona had it, not as tough maybe in some of the road trips when they were in the Pac-12. I know that Washington game was always difficult in Seattle and some of the other ones too, Colorado, but they were able to go to Utah and get a win, and go to Washington State and get a win, and they're going to have to do that tonight when they play Oklahoma State.
Yeah, it's a must. Iber Arena there used to be a really tough place to play. Oklahoma State used to be, back in the Big 8 days, was a legitimate power in college basketball, not anymore. So you've got to take care of business, because then you're coming home with games like, first you play Colorado on Saturday, but then you've got Iowa State next Tuesday. And I think that's a game that I've been looking forward to, because you're really going to see how you stack up against the top teams of Iowa State, Houston, Kansas. Those are all coming up, Jason.
Yeah, I guess we could talk a little Arizona football, Pat. You know, they're going hard with some recruiting. I saw Seth Dagey, the offensive coordinator, with visiting a 5-star recruit. I thought that was fantastic, because you got to go for those types of recruits. Yep. You're not gonna replace Tedero McMillan with one wide receiver, so they've got a few to come in and maybe kind of spread the ball around. And so I kind of like what they're doing. I think they're kind of going with some guys who feel like they've got something to prove. They need a little bit of an edge and a little bit of an angle, because they're not always getting some of the top flight guys that are that are hitting the transfer portal. So I kind of like what they're doing. Any thoughts on what Arizona's doing here in the offseason?
No, kind of the same. I would just say this, Jason. Our biggest fear was that the transfer portal would be swinging, the door would swing one way and one way only. And we found out that that's not necessarily true. While they probably lost more talent in some regards than they got back in, they still did pretty well in the transfer portal. I think recruiting is going better than most people would have expected after a season like they had. I think the expectations will be more realistic from this point forward. But at least when you have realistic expectations, if you can get a team to buy in and play a little bit above that, you end up having more success. Let's put it that way. And you feel a lot better about things. I feel better now than I did, say, a month and a half ago. And I think, it's still going to come down to, in the future, it's going to come down to, do they have the NIL money? Do they have the ability to sway guys to come to a place that traditionally they don't win for more than a year at a time, and then take a decade off of not really winning. So,
any thoughts on Coach Prime possibly going to the NFL with the Cowboys or the Raiders? I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it's going to happen. I think he's destined to be in the NFL at some point. Whether it happens this time around or not, I don't know. The Cowboys job seems to make more sense to me in the sense that he played there and he has such a great relationship apparently with Jerry Jones. But then again, if I'm Dion, do I really want to go to Jerry Jones? Does not, you got to go back to the mid-90s, Jason, for Jerry Jones to look like a genius.
Yeah.
And it's
very interesting what Troy Aikman said. I think it was Scott Van Pelt during the pregame show. And he said, the Cowboys, obviously Troy Aikman was the quarterback. The Cowboys coaching job, it's a coveted job. And Troy Aikman said, I don't think it is.
He said, I'm not so sure it's coveted anymore.
Really honest, perfect answer, and explain, what the situation was. Would Dan Campbell, could he really beat Dan Campbell, with the Cowboys? And you got Jerry Jones there as the general manager right over there. That was very interesting. You get to pick the fruit, you get to pick the players when you're in Colorado. You don't get to pick the players when you're with the Cowboys. And so I thought that was very interesting. And obviously, the Raider situation would be whether or not his son, it'd make for a lot of fun if he does go to the NFL. But I don't see Tom Brady hiring him.
Yeah, maybe not. But
actually, they're close. Actually, they are pretty close.
Well, I was going to say, if you were going to pick a situation, I think the Raiders' job with Tom Brady, at least as a minority owner, and having some influence on, say, free agents coming in and things like that, that would be the better job to pick. And Prime will translate just fine to the NFL as a coach, I'm sure. He's got a lot of credibility. And the way he does things, it makes it fun, and guys want to have fun and they want to win. We'll see. I mean, wherever he goes on the next stop, I guarantee it'll be with one of his sons.
Yeah. And speaking about Brady, it was our Huddle poll question. It was either last week or the week before, whether or not he was going to stay at Fox. Yeah. His agent, I believe, comes out and says, no, he's staying at Fox through the remainder of the deal. But listen, you always got to follow the money with these things. $370 million or whatever it is over 10 years. You're just not giving that money up.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Too much money.
Money talks. Money talks.
Is he as good as Greg Olson? Maybe not. But is he bad? Not at all. No, he's not bad at all.
No, he's not bad.
He's going to be better next year.
Yeah, I think so too. And I wish I could go back and remember exactly what Troy Aikman was like in year one.
That's a
I
good
don't
point.
remember
Yeah.
how good he was or not good he was,
He was
but
a three-person in the booth too with Collinsworth
oh, that
and
yeah.
Joe Buck, because if you go back and you look at the YouTube clip of Joe Buck's call when Randy Moss does the moon,
Oh, yeah.
so he has a touchdown with for the Vikings at Lambeau, and then he moons the fans, but he didn't really moon the fans.
Yeah.
He just did the
He
gesture,
faked
and
Moon the
Joe
fan.
Buck acted like he mooned the fans, and so Troy Aikman just kind of ignored Joe Buck's,
Shenanigans, yeah.
yes, but Collinsworth was in the booth too, so he wasn't even in the booth by himself with
Yeah.
Randy.
So maybe it would be an unfair, unfair comparison. But I really do think that he's gotten better, and I don't mind him coming back. I think it's a good move for him and for Fox. But to me, Troy Aikman's still the best. And
Oh, I totally agree.
him saying that to Scott Van Pelt just typifies that you're not going to get that homerish stuff ever from
No, to
Troy
have the
Aikman.
courage to say that,
Yeah, and I appreciate that. There's others that you always go, "Wow, he's a former Bengal. Of course he's going to say that, or
Yeah.
whatever."
We got a comment here that Tony Romo is better. Tony Romo is different. He's different. It's what floats your boat. What do you prefer? I'd rather have Aikman. If somebody would have Romo, fine,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's better.
No,
You're
I
too
don't.
different for one to be better
I
than
would
the other.
argue the opposite. I would say that Tony Romo's not as good as Aikman.
Yeah,
I not.
I would rather listen to Aikman. If somebody says
Yep.
Romo's better, I just think like
That's personal
they.
opinion.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Hopefully, we'll be talking some good things about Arizona basketball next week. As you can tell, I'm down on that loss to Texas Tech.
Well, but things
They
can
got to
turn
find a way to
quickly,
fight
Jason.
win.
You get an Oklahoma State win, you got a chance against Iowa State next Tuesday, and we might be back in the same boat, saying, okay, they've won 2 in a row since that disappointing loss at Texas Tech, and now they got a big one, kind of like we did last week, right before they played Baylor, and we felt so good after, they beat Baylor. So,
all right, let's finish up with our Huddle poll results. Who do you think is going to be? What do you think is going to be the Super Bowl matchup? Pretty even there. We got a lot of Commanders Bills. I think there's a little bit of hope in that.
there's definitely hope in
I think
that. I'm
there's hope in
hoping that.
I have Bills Eagles actually comes in the lowest at 18% there,
But still all
and
pretty close.
yeah, no, that is. So kind of evenly spread there. I think people want to see some new blood, and
I think that's it. I mean, wouldn't it be great to have somebody out of the blue just win a Super Bowl like the Commanders, or somebody who's been knocking on the door but not quite pushing through the door, and that's the Bills.
yeah, I remember that Commanders Bills Super Bowl, but that was not the Commanders at the time. Obviously, it was a different nickname, but yeah, that was not a close game.
No.
I was surprised. I thought the Bills would play that much closer. Anyway, we'll know next week who the Super Bowl matchup is going to be, and we shall see. All right, for Pat Paris, I'm Jason Barr. This has been the Huddle, KGUN9's weekly streaming sports talk show. We'll see you right back here next week, same time.